I worked in a prison in a remote area in southern Iraq, miles from Khazar. At the time I was there, it detained 30,000 prisoners and an additional 3,000 that no one except people working there knew about. They'd put us in blacked-out window commercial buses and drive us an hour away for days at a time to guard the facilities. We were never allowed to speak with anyone on the main prison FOB, and forbidden to tell anyone about it. We referred to it only as Jurassic Park, one of the black prisons run by contractor medical personnel. The facility itself was a facade of mud brick buildings resembling a small village. The place was complete with villagers, us, dressed up in man dresses in a small area for goats on the outskirt. From a distance, it looked legit, but up close you could see the bulges from our combat gear underneath the clothing. All of us there were picked for our darker complexions and allowed to grow facial hair. You also had to be military police with TS and PRP, or Yankee White Clearance. I couldn't see Khazar from the facility, so I have no idea where we were, just that we were in the middle of nowhere. We had to park the gun trucks and buses away from the area and use netting to cover them. The trucks were manned by PMC, so they looked like civilian vehicles besides being armored variation of normal vehicles. Usually, a small fire team would be tasked with security and a terp. The rest of us had to put the clothing on and start a small patrol to relieve the other guards. In late 2007, we were woken up early and were called to go to the facility 3 days earlier than our normal rotation. We bitched, got ready, and headed out to get in the buses. This time around, we arrived to a lot full of newer up-armored Humvees, told to shut the fuck up and get in. There were already drivers in each truck, and off we went. The drivers drove in a tight group, which is unusual for convoy ops. They also didn't talk to us the entire ride. It's pitch black out, and all you can see is blackness. But this is the first time we were allowed to see where we were going because the Humvee windows weren't blacked out like the buses. I'm trying to orient myself but can't see much besides the little red lights of vehicles in front of me. The windows are thick armored glass, so it's impossible to see anything in the nighttime desert with no illumination beside the convoys. We drive for a little over an hour, and you can see a faint glow in the distance. We start to get closer, and it's the facility that's on fire. The LT comes over comms and relays that anyone not wearing American DCU pattern MOP 4 is to be eliminated via deadly force. None of us are wearing MOP gear. The driver stops the vehicle, and we're told to dismount and rally around a group of LMTVs that are waiting for us. They start calling SSI numbers and handing out mopping gear that is already our sizes. My what the fuck is going off hard. NCOs come around and tell us to gear up. We start putting on our mop gear and are abruptly told to stop and strip back down to our regular uniforms and take out our military ID cards, driver license, and any other form of photo identification on our person or gear. Little teams of PMC, private military contractor, i.e. Blackwater, etc., start collecting and searching us. One guy would cut away our name tape, military branch tape, and unit patches. Once they finished, another team of them would come by and try to find anything the first one missed. Lastly, our NCOs did the same thing to see if the first two missed anything. Officers start rallying up our NCOs for the operations order, tells them what the plan is, and the rest of us are told to rally back up around another set of LMTVs, armored supply trucks like a newer Deuce and a half. They start unloading boxes filled with ammo, magazines, and newer NVGs than the ones we already had in our gear. These ones had a rail system that attached behind our optics so we could wear gas masks and still shoot and see in the dark. We're told to load as many magazines as possible and put the spares in our 3-day assault packs. Fancy military for a backpack. We already carried a basic load of 210 rounds and 9mm pistols with 45 rounds in our ammo pouches on our IBAs, individual body armor. We're taken over to another area to zero our weapons at the makeshift little range made of HESCO blast barriers. With my NVGs, I can see that there's a security perimeter around us made up of PMCs. We shoot, zero, then rally back up to hear what the plan is. We are to provide personal security for a team of contractors and are to follow any and all directions from contractors unless it's basic combat tactical decisions. We start forming up into squads, 12 people, then break down into fire teams, about 4 people, and designate who will stay with the contractor, and who will provide external security, and who will be clearing rooms. We are then briefed via rock drills, literally a fucking map made up of rocks and lined in dirt, for which squads will assault at what entry points or defend entry points. We're leaving in platoon sizes, about 5 squads, and the rest of our normal security detail will provide overwatch with heavy weapons / marksmen on external perimeter once we start to systematically clear the village / underlying prison facility. After all that, a team of 3 contractors wearing those pressurized suits that push air outward when it rips joins my fire team. I want to say they had Dew Point logos on the suit itself, but I don't remember. We start to move towards our objective. The patrol there goes smoothly, and we set up a perimeter and recon the area. Only a few buildings are still smoldering. The fire itself had gone out during all the bullshit of us just gearing up. A majority of the village is still intact. There are also bodies strewn about, but with the gas masks on and only night vision, it's hard to make out if they are insurgents or the guys we normally relieve wearing local clothing. There's a small IR beacon, infrared, flashing at the base of one of the larger buildings, and wants our team to shift to cover / clear that building. Plans are adjusted and the assault begins. It's damn near impossible to move with all that mob gear on. That, combined with the sweat pooling in my mask and low visibility, is making something relatively complicated in itself even more difficult. Fire teams make progress to their respective areas. Our building's on the opposite side of the town, so it takes us a minute to get there. We bound and take position, making it even more tedious as we move. I'm running to take up the next position, and each kneel onto the ground, landing on top of a body. The face is caved in and the gore gets all over my mask and suit. I notice he is armed with an M4, meaning he is American military. There are shell casings and magazines strewn about his body. My guess is I lost footing when my foot hit the shell casing, and like marbles, they made me slide and lose balance. The guy behind me bounds up and drags me up by my assault pack, back up to my feet, and we continue. Small arms fires going off sporadically, but in controlled bursts, meaning that other teams are running into opposition, but handling the situation. We arrive and stack up on our building, and wait for the last team to get in place, set off 2 flashbangs to signal for all the building clearing teams to start. I'm covering my area of responsibility, but can barely see shit, with the sweat stinging my eyes, and my inability to wipe it away because of the gas mask. The gunfire has quelled, and the flashbangs echo throughout the village to signal the rest of us. I'm first in as lead man in my fire team. I'm having trouble seeing in the darkness. The fucking mask is making it worse. I swing my weapon up and clear my area of responsibility. Rest of the fire team follows. First room clear, so I stack up back on the next door, wait to feel the pat on my back to assault the next room. My eyes are stinging at this point, and I really can't see shit. All I'm hoping is some prick doesn't get the drop on me, and I get lit up. Feel the slap on my gear. Shove open the door. I swing right and see a silhouette in the corner. He first cowers from the light coming from my surefire flashlight, then rebounds. I can't see if he has a weapon or not, but he starts to run towards me. Reach to squeeze the trigger, but the rubber from my mob gloves is caught on the trigger guard. Something so simple and quickly taken care of becomes an action long enough to get me killed. 2 shots go off, and my ears are ringing. Third man in saw the threat and neutralized it. We start to stack on the next door after securing the assault with flexicuffs. Contractor comes in and tells us to stand by, walks over and starts fucking with the dead body. What the fuck is this nigga doing, .jpeg? Starts swabbing the mouth with Q-tips and prodding the body with other instruments. I can't really focus on what he's doing, as I'm responsible to not get us killed if someone comes through the next door. The other 2 technicians come in and start consorting with the contractor. The head guy walks over to my fire team leader and tells us to stop clearing immediately and stand by. The contractor gets on his radio and starts relaying a message to his people. Sitting there waiting, letting whomever is waiting for us get into position because they know we're there now. And every minute wasted is a minute for them to prepare for our entry. I'm getting antsy, thinking about it. Want to keep moving but can't until I'm told. Contractor's radio goes back off and he mumbles something into it. Then addresses my fire team leader. We are told that anybody inside the facility is to be considered hostile. Don't try to identify weapons, just shoot. Okay, here comes War Crimes Tribunal.mp4. Contractor tells us to continue. Get to door. Feel slap. Rush in. Room clear. This is the deepest into the building any of us have ever been. There's one last door with a keypad and a badge reader. There's a dead guard in the corner with boils on his exposed skin / black blood pooled around him, and his blood soaked through his clothes. Contractor follows us in when we secure the body. He repeats the process again but doesn't call it in again. We wait in the room for a minute and wait for other fire teams to finish their way up to their respective entrances. Waiting. Then waiting. One of our guys asked the contractor if we're supposed to shoot other American personnel. What a dumb question, I think. But then this prick looks at us and says, yes, anyone in this facility, regardless of affiliation. What the fuck? I can't even believe I'm hearing this shit. Had it been our rotation instead of those guards, then the higher-ups would just have had offed us too? The downtime in starting to connect the dots. Something biological was in this place, and now they're worried it'll get out. My heart starts to race. I have blood on me. I'm wearing a shitty mop, assembled from some lowest bidder government contractor, probably had made in fucking Puerto Rico. Starting to shake a little bit. My gas mask is starting to pulse on my face from the deep breaths I'm taking. I'm starting to freak out. How well did my buddies really check the fucking thing to make sure I'm sealed up right? I ask the contractor if I'm safe inside my mop gear. He responds nonchalantly. I yell at him that he has a fucking suit that looks like it's out of the movie Outbreak, and that's easy for him to say. My leader tells me to chill the fuck out. I proceed to chill the fuck out. Sort of. Radio goes back off. Other teams are ready. Contractor walks up to door, takes out restricted area badge, swipes it, then enters his PIN. Door hisses loudly, and retracts backward with hydraulic whirl. Enter next room. Sterile. One-way glass to my right. Little corridor, not really a room. Shove muzzle into one-way glass to break it in case someone is going to light me up from the other side. Muzzle makes contact. The solid glass doesn't even wobble. Shock hurts my wrist. Continue towards the end of corridor. Another keypad. Contractor does his thing. We assault onto a long hallway with rooms on either side. Fucking room clearing nightmare. Contractor assures us all these doors are secure and walks ahead of us to a specific door. I can hear movement and voices inside the rooms. Realize they are where the detainees are kept in cells. Contractor talks to leader. Contractor wants us to force cell extract the prisoner. We don't have any riot gear to do this. Have to do it anyway. Stack up on door, and he inputs a code to open it. Door unlocks, rush in. My first step in, I slip and am shoved forward by my teammates for the extraction. I'm knocked out briefly. Wake up back outside the cell. I'm covered in blood and teammate is wiping blood off my face shield. Contractor is hovering over me and asks me to check the seal on my mask to make sure it didn't tear. Seal is fine. Doesn't even ask if I'm alright. Walks away, talks to Sergeant. Looks inside cell. Covered in blood and vomit. Detainee dead in corner. Overhear contractor address one of the techs. Tell them to stay on the cell and that he was hoping we'd find him here and wouldn't have to go another block of the facility. Restart assault. Get to the end of the cell block. Another keypad. Inputs code and we go in. The room is round with a guard shack in the center of the circle room. Cells align the entire room with another keypad door at the end. Some of the cells are unsecured with doors open. Vomit. Blood. Shit line the walls and floor. Gate shack is one-way glass, can't see inside. Hear beeping from inside. American steps out. None of us have the balls to kill him. I recognize him. One of the guys I normally relieve, but he is down here? He starts to babble. He doesn't recognize who we are behind the protective suits. Sees Contractor, shuts up immediately. Contractor is waiting for us to react. I'm waiting for us to react. No one reacts. I lower my muzzle and look to Sergeant for guidance. He just nods his head, no. Contractor asks to speak with Sergeant, 2 other techs. Take opportunity to ask guard what happened. Tell him my name. He remembers me from doing changeover. Relays that 4 days ago, 5 of those fuckers came up and told us there was a riot going on and the guards inside were being overwhelmed by. Said that we didn't need suits like them, it was a precaution. They lied. We need to get out of here, man. Looking into his eyes, I notice they're bloodshot. Skin is yellow, gums pale. He keeps rubbing his stomach. One of my guys starts talking to him. He turns around to face him. Back of his pants are covered in black shit, as in fecal matter, matting and hardening. He passes a long-winded gasp, but doesn't even break stride talking to the other guy. Pauses, looks at the ceiling abruptly, snaps his head back forward and vomits all over the guy he was speaking with. He starts to talk again like nothing happened. Arguing starts to get louder behind me between Contractor and Sergeant. Start to step back a little bit. Shitpants guard starts telling Vomit Guard to take his mask so he can see his face. Vomit Guard is freaking out trying to clean his face and shield while crouched on one knee. Shitpants starts stepping closer to his crouched body, reaching for his mask. What the fuck is he doing? Start yelling at him to back up and leave the other guard alone. Ignores me, throws up on the guard again, still reaching for his mask, and they start to scuffle. Shitpants is screaming for him to take off his mask so he can see his face. I run up and hit Shitpants with the butt of my weapon. He rolls off, gets to his knees, and continues to shit and vomit himself, screaming at Vomit Guard to take off his mask. I start wrestling with Shitpants and screaming for Sergeant to grab flexi cuffs. Screams are muffled because of mask. I'm on top of his chest, but he's still grabbing at my mask trying to rip it off. He's biting the rubber face shield and screaming at me in between. Start freaking out. Rubber overboot kicks him in the temple. Black blood starts coming from his ears. He starts struggling more, but Sergeant saw us fighting and ran over. Now he is flipping him over and gets the cuffs on him. He keeps squirming around. See the cuffs digging into his skin. Vomit Guard runs up and he drags Shitpants into an open cell and slides him in and shuts the door. We and our gear are all covered in vomit, shit, and blood. Contractor says nothing to us but stares. We all nod in acknowledgement. Shitpants is still screaming, tumbling around in the cell. Contractor has all of us come to it. Tex says bluntly, "If you want to get out of here, you need to listen to us. We have a ways to go, and I want to stay alive." Walks off to the next keypad door. Sergeant yells for us to stack up. Stack up. Feel slap. Assault room. 5 people muling around in the center and look surprised when we enter. I fire and so does everyone else. It's a security station, monitors, intercom system, etc. Secure bodies with flexi cuffs. Sergeant walks to camera monitor and consults me. Says we can bypass a lot of shit if Contractor tells us where we are going. Agree. Call over Contractor. He agrees and looks over the monitors, points to facility clinic and says we need to go there so they can do their job and we can all leave. Facility is much bigger than expected. Contractor tells us first rooms we passed are just holding areas for new prisoners to be sorted. Emergency exit map and security room. Start to plan assault. Place is built like a giant square with several hallways connecting rooms all the way to the center that makes up the largest cell block and aid station. Run rock drills using miscellaneous office supplies. Get confident we know somewhat what we are doing. Start to assault the facility again. Get lucky through most of it, but traces of running gunfights are evident throughout. Bloated corpses are in some of the security substations. We are out of flexi-cuffs. Begin using sidearms to ensure they will not pose a threat. Get to a 3-tier block. Decide that we will just assault through as quickly as possible to the other side. Try to avoid getting bogged down. Open door and start beeline. There's a security station in the center. Running towards it to get past and get the fuck out of that place. Door swings open, and prisoner with M4 steps in and starts firing at us. American steps out next and takes up a position of cover and starts firing. Hit prisoner standing out and open. Keep up suppressing fire on guard while my teammate runs down the opposite side to flank him. Tags guard. We all rush up to clear the security room. It's empty. Guard is still alive. Tells us they saw what we did to the other guard station, and the prisoners and guards that are still alive are armed and waiting for us. Sergeant shoots him. There are only 4 of us that have a shaky understanding of the facility's layout. Makes me nervous. No time to talk, run across cell block to other door to next room. Continue through several more rooms. Careful at each substation, but haven't run into anyone else. Make it to clinic. Secure it. Set up defensive position near entrance to protect contractors while they did whatever they were doing. They finish up and come out with a flexi-cuffed prisoner. I'm getting more anxiety over this situation. Now we have to tote around 4 people while fighting a force that knows the layout of the structure. Prisoner isn't wearing protective clothing, but he doesn't look sick either. Start to understand why they need him. Being an assault through building, have to cover new territory as it's the shortest point to one of the exits. There's an entrance that leads to another facility, where we can link up with a fire team from our original assault force on the surface. Start running through rooms, trying to be cautious, but trying to get the fuck out as quickly as possible. Run into what looks like an ambush. The 3 who set it up are barricaded behind random furniture and bodies. Litter the zone. Start running through the bodies, trying to keep weapon level with these guys. They look like their abdomens are tore open from the pressure of the fluids inside them. The organs are black. Some of the fluids are deep yellow. Keep running. Getting tired. Getting complacent. Overheating, dehydrating. Nothing we can do but keep running. Sergeant is lagging behind us. We cover more ground, and he stops and takes off his mask and throws up. I look at the contractor and he just nods his head. His skin is yellowing, aggressive-looking boils on his cheeks, has that same deep red tint to his eyes. Pulls M9. Kills himself before we can even say anything. No time. Start running forward again, hoping to make it to that door. We have 3 more rooms to cover. Contractor calls me back and tells me to stop. I know where this is going, so I put the M4 on him. Tell him I kill us both before I let him waltz out without me and my guys. Tells me not to worry. Says we need to deviate slightly to the decontamination rooms. Too tired to care, and he leads the way. Get to rooms, and they spray the gore off the suits. Sitting, waiting for remnants of the original prisoners and guards forced to kill me, while I just stand there like an asshole, while this thing sprays a bunch of shit on me. Nothing happens, and we all rendezvous in what we call a clean room, to wait on my 3 other guys to get done with their decon process. Start to put gear back on, not paying attention. Gunshot rings out in rapid succession. Contractor has killed the other 2 techs, and has the gun on me. Tells me he can get me out of there, but I need to protect him when we get to the surface. Agree to it. He shuts off the decon and locks my guys inside to die. Has me put on one of the tech's suit instead of my original gear. Takes me not to the door we fought to get to, but an elevator. Nothing seems real. Go on autopilot and follow him. He knows the layout more than he let on in the beginning. We get to the elevator, and he takes us back to the original mock-up village and hit all this shit. Rendezvous with my original security element, hoping they don't recognize me through the face mask. Hilo lands and takes us across border to Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait. I'm smuggled out of the country, back into the United States. Contractor kept his word, and I kept mine. If I gave you my real name, you would say I died in a mortar attack in late 2007.